my name's Samar, and I currently work at Spaces as QTPOC Access Coordinator, which is a student-run center run by people of color for people of color. So, and for me, the work I do specifically is within the queer and trans people of color community in the greater San Diego area. So that's the work I do, and next year I'm most likely going to be working at the Women's Center as a gender buffet intern. So every week I put on different workshops about different topics. And I guess I'm a student too. I'm getting a Bachelor of Science in Clinical Psychology and minoring in Critical Gender Studies at the University of California, San Diego. So I'm from LA County, and I grew up very close to the city. I identify myself as a queer Desi Muslim femme. I grew up in a pretty conservative Muslim family, and my parents were an arranged marriage. I grew up with them being very abusive toward each other, I guess, and that kind of also was part of the reason I wanted to get involved in work surrounding the Muslim community.
How did you start curating events like these?
So I would say since I was probably 15, I've kind of been organizing events and through different ways. When I was in high school, I started a club called Empowerate, which stands for Empower and Educate, and it was to raise money for a school in Pakistan that allowed for children of servants to get an education, including girls. For lower class women to be able to get an education in Pakistan, it's just very unlikely with the circumstances that exist there. So that's part of why it was really important for me to do that work. So one of the first things I did when I started school here was I really wanted to start a multimedia art collective for women of color, and I think what really mobilized me to actually go through with it was just after the election, I was just kind of this is really needed right now. We really need this space to just heal and share our own different pains and different experiences and different feelings of how this is going to impact us, and build our own community and our own relationships and our own feeling, our own bonds through that. So that's why I started the collective called Nobody's Bethies, and through that collective we did two multimedia projects. One was written pieces, and then also this photo series, and it was basically about racial fetishism as women of color, and how that impacted each of us involved differently, and how we found bonds and love and community with each other through sharing our own experiences and understanding our own differences, finding strength in our differences and also in our similarities, I guess. And also we did a little short film called Strength, which was about self-love and decolonization. It was basically just kind of empowerment and love for all of us involved, and decolonization through the pieces that were the spoken word pieces, as well as the visuals, which were of some of the women of color from the collective just dancing with each other and sharing love with each other. So over the summer I organized an art show in LA called Cosmic Not Exotic, and I showcased both of those projects, as well as so two Desi femme artists played, Shakti Riyat, who doesn't, I don't think she has any, she might have some music on SoundCloud actually, and then also Cohen Orgasm, who played the recent QTPOC art show as well. And I really wanted to host that event because I spent a lot of high school pretty involved in the DIY art scene, and I didn't see a lot of space for myself in it. It was very white centric, and a lot of, even with the feminist art, it was still very white feminist. So I wanted to create a space that I felt was for women of color and run by women of color. So that's kind of why I did that art show. What also mobilized me though, to really start my activism was specifically where I went to school, there was a lot of white conservative people. Going to high school in that environment and kind of coming into like myself in this like toxic environment kind of made me understand why it's important to do the kind of work I do, and that's like definitely part of why I am the way I am.
How do you do it?
To be honest, it's like, honestly, it's a lot. Like, I have to find ways to sustain myself, like, especially, like, I'm working to, like, pay my own rent, and I am doing, like, an unpaid internship, and I'm involved in a lot of like different organizations, and I'm also like a full-time student taking like 5 classes this quarter, which is a lot for UCSD. Most people take 3 or 4, but I just like really try and make time for myself to like give myself that chance to like enjoy myself and like have like I'll like have a party at my house, or I'll like go camping, or I'll go to a show in LA, or like go to an art show. Participating in art shows like really do help like help me keep going too, just because like those spaces are always really affirming and amazing. So like I don't have a lot of free time. I usually am like, okay, this is what I need to do every day to like get a certain amount of stuff done. Ways to give myself that time to like take care of myself. Recently I've been skating a lot more, so I like have been doing that to kind of like release some energy. Yeah. But yeah, just like stuff like that where like I'm really gonna try and give myself time every day to like spend at least like an hour or like 30 minutes doing that. But like yeah, those are just like some of the things that I do. I mean, I know that in this lifetime, like, all of the structures of oppression that exist in this society will not disappear, and I'm aware of that, but, like, I think I want to dedicate my life to, like, lead in the direction of, like, undoing all of the, like, institutions that allow for, like, this, like, violence and hatred and trauma to, like, continue in this world. Easing, like, the trauma that a lot of, like, people of color, women of color, like, queer and trans people of color experience in their lives, like, easing that trauma so they have the chance to, like, just, like, heal and, like, find a way to, like, enjoy their life. I know that, like, my impact may not be, like, huge and, like, groundbreaking, but I know that, but I really just want to, like, still make a difference in people's lives, I guess.
Sorry, I just couldn't. No, that's perfect.